Okay, we're finally live. All right. That took me a moment there. Not sure what happened, but we're here. Okay, so this is the inside. Oh, I got to change the title here. I don't know. Will it let me change the title um, on OBS or streaming here? Let's see if that will work. And it probably isn't even in there. The inside, right? And this is, what are we talking about today? We're going to be talking about I ate at McDonald's today. Oh my goodness, right? Um, whoa, McDonald's. Learn how to spell here, Angelo. All right, I ate at McDonald's. Oh, I should probably put an emoji there, right? Like, oh my goodness. All right, save. I'm also gonna go live here with Wisdom. Wisdom's pretty cool. It's a new app, and I really like it because you can talk. So I'm gonna pull them up right now, and this is more on the whim here. So bear with me for a second. Okay. All right, so we are live now on Wisdom and YouTube, and this is the inside, and I'm calling it I ate McDonald's, and I got this emoji face, and the reason I have this is because a lot of people have a stigma about eating unhealthy and that we must always eat healthy. And the whole part of this and what I'm trying to do is kind of give you an inside track of how do I go about my health and fitness and kind of let you in on the inside. This is why it's called the inside of my journey. And it's not, I know when I post content out there, it sort of looks like everything's perfect, right? We always make things look perfect, um, and in reality, it's not. So I figured, hey, you know what? Let everybody see what's going on in my world. So if you're listening on Wisdom or you're watching on YouTube, you can go on either one. If you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see what I'm going to do today because I'm going to take you through some of the things that I do in order to sort of approach my health and fitness. So when I do my research, but also kind of let you in on what I'm doing day to day on my personal journey. So like for today, I was doing a live on Twitch and Clubhouse, and I looked at my calendar. I don't know why I didn't look at it earlier. And I see scheduled here on Saturday, I have a birthday party to go to. And because of that, I now have to start making some decisions, and I like to make them ahead of time. And one of the decisions I know I have to make is whether I'm going to eat cake and ice cream. And that's always, usually 99.9% of the time, going to be yes. So I have to make these different choices in the rest of my in my time, or did I make good choices prior to that I could confidently say I'm going to have cake and ice cream. It's going to happen. I'm not going to deny it. I'm just going in and saying I'm going to do that. But what am I going to do instead of? Or have I already done things in the past to compensate for that I'm consistently making healthy choices? Now, today I had to go run out to the post office, and as I was doing that, I really needed something to grab. I needed to grab a bite to eat. And so, guess where I stopped? Just as the title says, I stopped at McDonald's. And I know a lot of people, if they were to sit with me, like travel with me, and go along on this journey, they would probably look at me and say, what kind of diet you on? What are you doing out there? Because it looks like you're not even doing anything. It looks like you're just being haphazard on the way you approach things. And my message is pretty clear, at least from my perspective, is I'm not on a diet. I don't diet anymore. I eat healthy the majority of the time, and sometimes I'm on a quick drive somewhere, and today I passed McDonald's, or I saw McDonald's when I was going to the post office, and said, you know what, I'm going to swing back around and I'm going to grab myself a bite to eat at McDonald's. And at the same time, I'm also making decisions. Okay, later on in Saturday, I'm going to be eating cake and ice cream. But what I'm going to do is I was trying to think of whether or not I was going to eat the food at the birthday party. And I made a decision once I decided I was going to do McDonald's. My decision was pretty clear to me. It was pretty straightforward. I said, I'm going to eat this McDonald's, but on the birthday party, I'm going to eat something healthier. I'm going to probably pre eat before I go to the party. And if I eat anything, I'm going to dive right into those veggies because nobody likes to touch the veggie platter except for me at this point in my life. And I'm going to stuff myself beforehand. So, um, yeah, it's gonna be fun for me to eat the ice cream and cake. So I'm making some decisions in the next 2 days. What's tomorrow? Thursday, and then we have Friday, and then tonight, and then Sunday. So probably tonight I'm gonna eat all protein, maybe very little veggie carbs. I've been more focused on proteins lately. And then tomorrow, I'm probably gonna do the same thing. So I'm probably gonna reduce the carbs. I'm not going to eat unhealthy for the next till the cake and ice cream, really. And that's the decision I made. And so that's what I'm going to do. Now, I want you to take this because this is important the way I just walk you through what I'm doing. I have no problem going to McDonald's. I have no problems in going to eat ice cream and cake. Why? Because consistently I'm keeping track of what I'm doing. I don't write it down on a piece of paper. I don't put it in an app. Now, originally I did. I say originally when you start on your journey, you should be writing things down, putting it on an app or something. Do whatever it takes in order to get yourself aware of what you're eating and then adjust from there based on the goals that you want to achieve. So for me, I'm past that point now. So I'm actually just going through and saying, okay, McDonald's, probably high in fat, so very high in carbs, very little in protein. And because I'm leaning more towards proteins these days to reach my goals, for the next 2.5 days, I'm going to be focused on protein and leafy greens and things like that, and probably a small fraction of fats, which will probably be olive oil, is what I'm aiming at. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing. And then I'm not going to feel guilty at all. I don't feel guilty that I ate the McDonald's. I don't feel guilty that I'm going to have cake and ice cream because even for the rest of the week after that, I'm most likely I don't foresee anything that's going to interrupt my patterns that I would just be in a routine. This happened to break my pattern. This happened to be that I needed to go out and go to the post office. Normally, I don't go to the post office, but I had to. So, with that, I made some quick decisions, and now I know for probably the next 2 or 3 weeks, I'm probably going to eat healthy. So, no, it's not a big deal that I ate McDonald's. Now, if I kept eating McDonald's every other day or something like that, then it would be a problem. But I don't have that problem. So, anyways, I just wanted to share that with you on my journey. A lot of people would be fighting themselves, contending themselves. Should I have McDonald's? Should I not have McDonald's? For me, in the place that I'm at, oh, I got a guest. Ooh, Sunny. All right. In three, two, one. Hey, Sunny.
How you doing, man?
Good, good. Oh, Siri thinks I'm talking to her. Sorry, Siri. Nope, I said Sunny, not Siri. um, yeah, sorry I didn't see you volunteer there to come on up stage. How's it going?
Man, it's going very well. It's going very well, man. I was actually really loving your talk, and I was just going to talk previously, like right before this one, regarding sort of this same little topic, even within the fitness, because like I brought up the example, and you can look it up. The famous football player Chad Johnson that played for the Cincinnati Bengals. There's a video of him eating McDonald's while he's working out, and there was people reacting to. I think it was like Joe Rogan or something. They were like reacting to it, and they were basically saying that he can do that because he spent his whole life working out, and even he's working out during the video, and he's going to continue to work out afterwards. So eating that McDonald's at that time will not affect you. And I would also like to add, even using myself as a person that works out religiously, like I will and it doesn't affect me because I know tomorrow, the next day, I'm going to go run 2 miles, and then I'm going to spend 45 minutes up in the weight room. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
it doesn't. It. I think it builds up when you don't work out, and then you continue to eat that unhealthy food. That's when it builds up. That's when the unhealthiness builds up. That's when that because then you really start to lose control of like yourself. You start to lose control of your habit. It's almost like they say, the first step of discipline is when you can, mind what you eat and drink. So when but man, this is a really like intriguing topic. I'm glad you're talking about it though, because people shouldn't beat themselves up over what they eat. They should just acknowledge it, be aware of it, and then they should just just make the proper adjustments there to go forward into a more healthier lifestyle. But yeah, man, what made you want to have this talk right now? So did you eat some McDonald's?
I did. I normally I'm home working, and as I'm working, I have very much a lot of control over what I'm going to eat. What I have access to. But today, my pattern, my normal routine, was disrupted because I had to go out and during lunchtime. And when I went out, I passed McDonald's, and I just got this trigger saying, you know what? I feel like McDonald's today. So when I swung by, I ate the McDonald's and I said, you know what? Most people, when they're when they think of health and fitness, they think, oh, I can't do that. I shouldn't do that. And they have this like internal struggle. And I used to be like that. But I can even tell, like, even the way you're talking, and now the conversation in my head is not this tug of war. It's, I'm going to eat McDonald's. And I've got,
Yeah,
you fact check yourself a little bit and say, okay, have I been healthy eating lately, or is this,
exactly.
like a routine? Am I really going down a rabbit hole here? Because there's a big difference. And then if I say to myself, you know what, I've been eating pretty healthy, and today I'm just going to have McDonald's. I've been exercising. It's not a big deal, so I'm going to go do it. And then that end of story. I'm not eating it and then thinking, regretting every bite, or after like, thinking back on it and saying, "Oh man, I really shouldn't have done that." It's done. I already decided. I moved on, and I was like, but this would be a great topic for people who are struggling because they normally just go 0 to 100. They're like, I'm going on a diet, I throw everything out. And it's like, don't go on a diet, change your lifestyle, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like make it a lifestyle to work out. I always say that's why I brought up the true example of Chad Johnson and myself, because working out is just a big thing. Like if you can religiously work out 5 to 6 times, even 3 to 4 times a week, and then your body will start to become what it is. You will be more healthier. I read this. So there was this article I read recently where it was like the path to a longer life is to work out. So if you want one reason to live a longer life, a longer, healthier life, to where you have so where you have like a lot of energy, and you can be able to have the mental constraints off, and you can just be just have a smooth lifestyle, and that's to work out. Then you won't have to really constrain yourself or like restrict yourself from different types of food. You can eat, a lot of the things that you want to eat. And even something that I like to add, bro, is sometimes when I do go a day where like I may eat a whole lot of bullshit in like a 24-hour period, or the next 24 hours I may fast.
Right.
I may fast, and then I may drink water during that fast, and I may break the fast the next day, with like a fruit smoothie or something like that, because then I want to just get rid of all of that bad food from my body. But yeah, I love this like discussion, because what you're because to bring everything full circle and what you're talking about, it goes back into mental health, right?
Yep.
You want to have control of like your mind, and you don't want to beat your mind up. You want to be able to shadow box with yourself and always come out victorious,
Yep.
not shadow box with yourself and beat yourself down and lose. So,
Good
but yeah,
point.
man. yeah, man, I love that you're having this discussion, man. But and I appreciate you for having me, bro.
Yeah, thanks for volunteering to come up. I love it when people jump up here and interact and add their perspective because, you know, we're all on this journey and we all have different experiences and just sharing it can trigger somebody and inspire them. My words might not inspire somebody, but your words would inspire somebody. So really appreciate you jumping up here and sharing your knowledge and experience to that. So yeah, I just so that's typically my day. I kind of evaluate it, and like I was saying, this Saturday I have a birthday party coming. I've already decided I'm having cake and ice cream, and so I'm gonna adjust there. And it's funny that Sunny mentioned fasting. It's something that I struggled with a lot, meaning I'd never agreed with it necessarily. I never wanted to do it. I didn't think it was healthy, but I have this thing that I call, and I think I talked about it last week on the Exercise Lounge about resistance, resonance, and persistence. And if those three things show up in my life, um, then I open up the doors to my belief systems, let it in, and then evaluate it. Because I believe when those three things happen, your life is trying to tell you something. It's trying to open you up to a new insight. Whether it doesn't mean that I'm going to fast, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna make a change, but life is telling me, hey, take a look at this. You should take this serious. And so I did started fasting, and um, with that, a lot of the let's say thoughts I had diminished. All the beliefs I had kind of fell down because I thought I was going to be sluggish. I thought I was going to be hangry. I thought I wasn't going to be able to exercise. I thought like I was going to lose focus. But I decided because it came into my life, I said, you know what? Let me try it. Let me feel it. And I do it now. And it does help. It does, especially in a pinch. Like I know right now I'm in a season of time where I'm so busy that I don't really get to exercise as much as I used to. And I'm also, so I had to change something, right? I wasn't going out there and doing the exercise. So what did I change? I ended up changing the my nutrition, and I said, let me try this fasting thing. They kind of coincided together with what I needed at the time, and here I am. Fast forward a few months in, and I've been fasting in the mornings and feeling pretty good actually. I'm not tired or any of the things that I thought I was going to be. Now, could there be long-term effects? Sure. Maybe fasting not work for you? Maybe. At the time, I was in denial of it, and now I'm open to the concept. And this is really where things get interesting on your health and fitness journey, right? Because then when you allow your doors to open, allow things to come in with the right mindset, challenge yourself. Like when things come up, let yourself try different things. Then you're going to find out what works for you. I love when people say that works for you, it doesn't work for me. You're right. It may not work for you. It could be just your mindset. It could be your body reacts differently. It could be you're in a different age group and things. What I found with age is it more takes time. Time is what's really the different factor than when you're younger. Not so much that things don't work anymore. It just takes a lot longer, and you're fighting against what aging does, which is reduction in muscle mass and more fat tissue. So you have that working against you. But overall, just trying different things, explore, have fun, try McDonald's. I made this analogy one time. If I were to be able to time travel and I was able to go back in time, which one would I change? Would I want to go back in time and say, hey, Angelo, slap my hands when I ate that McDonald's that one day and smack it out of my hands and say, don't eat that. That the fact that you're just about to eat McDonald's is going to change your life forever. It's not. It's not that one moment. It's not that one time. It's really a life, it's a habitual choice that you're making. If anything, I'd go back and say to myself before I reached my all-time low in 2015, I would have went back and said, hey, um, you know, you are in the wrong mindset. You're approaching things the wrong way. Um, I would be working, trying to talk to myself and reinstate a positive state. At that time, I could almost guarantee you the states that I were in was not a positive state. Therefore, I was attracting things that were deteriorating my progress in health and fitness. But now I'm a different person. And I knew back then when I was eating McDonald's, to me, I was in that tug of war. Now it's not even a discussion anymore. Now I just go, boom, this is my decision. This is what I'm doing. So I just wanted to share that with everyone and kind of give you the inside of what's going on. So I'm going to try to do this every day. I don't know what time I'm going to be on. I don't know when I'm going to do this. It was just something I started thinking about that I'd really like people to see inside, like where I'm going, what I'm doing. Um, and hopefully that will help you see because when I post content, when I have conversations, I kind of feel like it's sort of like not a scam, but it's not the truth, right? I come in here and I say, "Hey everybody, guess what? We got to work on mindset," or "Hey everybody, we got to cut out this or do that." And to the outside, I'm sure it looks like I'm living like this healthy lifestyle with perfect decisions, perfect choices. I have the will of an iron giant or whatever, and that's not the case. I do fall, I do trip. That does happen. And I said, you know what? Let's make this real. Let them see the inside of what really happens. But as you see, these are the things that happen throughout my day that technically speaking, I would have waited till next week on Tuesdays when I do the exercise lounge here on wisdom and said, this is the topic on my mind. And then I would have had like this whole nice thing mapped out about how we need to approach eating and all this stuff. And then you would have been like, oh, yeah, that's great. But I was like, we really need to get in the inside because where does change happen? Not on when things look perfect and nice and shiny. It's in the mess where we come out better, right? That's where change happens. And in order to move forward in our lives and really make a difference, we need to see how things work in the mess, right? And see what it looks like good. I can tell you, what was it? I can't remember the day, but something came along and it sideswiped me, meaning I wasn't expecting it. And it was the alumni race. It was the alumni race. That was 2 weeks, 2 Thursdays ago. And I went out there and I ran. And for whatever reason, I was completely starved, like absolutely starved. And everybody was going out after the race to eat. And I was like, okay, I already planned that I was going to eat a salad. Like that was my idea. I was going to eat a salad. But man, I was so famished at that moment in time. My energy was low. You probably could look at me and my state wasn't the same state that I usually am in. And so if you were a fly on the wall and you knew what I knew now, you could have looked at me and said, that guy's not going to eat a salad before I even thought about what was going to hit on that menu. I took one look at that menu and I was like, burger, that's it. It's done. When I should have had a salad. But the one thing that's different about me is that I did make a decision and I didn't regret it after. But if I were to get messy, like show you the mess that really happens that you probably see in your own life, is things pop up and you're not always in a position to get into state, to put yourself in a way that's going to make a positive decision. Especially when you have it mapped out, right? Like going in, I'm going to have a salad. Yep, I looked at the salad. I looked at the menu, looked at the salad. I saw a burger and I said, the burger is what's calling me right now and it's going to fulfill me. And so that's what I did. Um, yeah, so that's the whole point of this. So every day I'm going to go in and kind of show you sort of my share with you my journey, the good times, the bad times, so you can actually see what goes on. The one thing I did do with McDonald's though, I did have fries. I'm not going to lie. I did have a burger. I'm not going to lie. I did not have the soda. So when I ordered, I just got a burger and a medium fry. That was it. I skipped out and said, you know what, I'm going to do water instead. I can hold out on the soda. I don't need the soda. It does nothing for me. At this point, I've weaned off soda pretty much from my daily routines, my habits. So soda is not typically in my lifestyle. Occasionally I'll have it, and occasionally I'll have a beer or wine or something, but that's not in my mind. Um, so if anybody would like to share any your perspective or anything, feel free, please, to jump up here and add to this. Maybe you're struggling with eating McDonald's or whatever, and you like to talk it through or whatever. Feel free to jump up. This is an open session to just let you know. So no hard rules. So typically, also in a day, I love to look at different things. I and if you have YouTube open, I'm streaming live right there as well because I'm about to share my screen because I want to share with you how I approach things in my health and fitness. So I don't go out there and do like the 20-day fix or the 30 or the P90X or whatever. I kind of do research, and as things come up, I'm a firm believer that life is going to throw in front of you what it is that you need to be working on. And so right now, I've been working on my upper body and walking. In my upper body, uh, I've been trying to go to a handstand and do push-ups while doing a handstand. That's fun for me right now. I'm just doing it. No real rhyme or reason, just that something came across my plate as I was doing research, and I said, "Oh, that looks like fun. Let me try that." So that's the mission I'm on. But also, it works with everything else, like when I'm doing research. So I'm on YouTube right now, and I'm about to go do my research, and I'm giving everybody sort of like my process here of what I do. So I'm sharing my desktop right now, and let's see here. Where is the screen? So I go out to Google. It's pretty simple. I go out to Google and I type in top health and fitness news for today. That's all I do. And then I get a list of URLs. The first one that pops up, I just click on it. And this one happens to be Fitness News Science Daily. And this came up yesterday on my top feed, so it's probably going to be there for quite some time. And what is today? Today is September 7th. So I'm looking at the dates on some of these articles. And I'm looking for the three things I'm looking for is resonance, resistance, or persistence. So if I read something and the title like hurts me, like I feel like I'm putting up a wall, I'm going into it. If I feel like I'm attracted to it, I'm going into it. If I've seen this topic many different times, I'm going into it. Other than that, I ignore it. So, um, cellular waste product rejuvenates cancer fighting immune cells. Not really interesting to me right now. And I suggest people do this because you're going to find some cool stuff out here. It's worth the money to pay for weight loss program. I did that one yesterday. I did some research on that. August. So all these articles are pretty much old. I've been through them. So I'm going to go to the next URL, which is US News, the latest news on exercise and fitness. What do they have to say? Oh, here's a good one. Misguided nutrition assignments put kids at risk. Okay. I have children, so I'm interested in this article. So this was written September 6th by Una Hansen and Charlotte Markey. So this one actually resonated with me. Now, if you were to watch me on YouTube, I'm actually going down to the bottom because what I like to know is references. Um, that's super important to me. When somebody writes an article and they claim to be an expert or whatever, I want to know where did they get their information. I don't see anything here, so I'm going to be hesitant when I read this. But I'm still going to look to see if there's any type of reference to their research because one of the things is we're busy, right? We don't have time to look at everything. Oh, my battery's dying on my computer. But what we want to do is make sure that we can dive in to verify and get the full story, right? Sometimes we only get part of the story. The headline pulls us in. We start reading some stuff, and that stuff could be good or bad. but we sometimes need to dive in deeper. And just taking things by context is uh, in the way that they the, wrote it. One, they could have misinterpreted it or turned it into the way that will fit their perspective, their own point of view. What we want to do is actually go in and see, is there more to it? Let's go to the research itself. So here I am reading this article. Parents need to know. So if you're a parent, you need to know. I'm a parent. I want to know. So the title got me right. Misguided nutrition assignments put kids at risk. What's this? Nutrition assignments in school. I never heard of this. Food diaries are common nutrition assignments that pose a health risk to kids. Let's see if we can get to some good stuff here. Um, so they're talking about even students who will never go on to develop an eating disorder can be harmed when nutrition is reduced to a math equation with a side of body shame. So as some of you know, there's a lot of body shame that goes into our schools now. Actually, I'm more aware of it now. I think we're all more aware of it now because of social media and people being. We're more open these days to mental health and awareness, and so these this body shaming is really coming out. Whereas before, when I was younger, I didn't even know what was going on. But it's a big thing. So even though people don't get harming disorders, so there must be some type of thing that schools are doing to understand how to balance their nutrition. Let's see here. When schools encourage young people to count calories or feel self-conscious about their weight, it's no surprise that students exhibit anxiety about food and new or worsening body dissatisfactions. Ooh, that's interesting because from my perspective, I always thought that it was important that our schools teach things. Maybe not. I guess it all depends, right? I mean, calorie counting can be good. Calorie counting is useful sometimes. It depends on what you're trying to achieve. I mean, you need to be aware of the calories you're consuming because if you are overweight, then you need to, and you're trying to lose weight, you need to know your calorie consumption. It's just the way it is. Um, but maybe it's the way they're approaching it. Maybe, oh, that's a good one. Now I'm going to have to, so now this is really resisting against me. And so now I have to open my mind up. This is where things get interesting for me as a human in my fitness journey. So have always been on the belief that we should be educating kids about health and fitness. But now here's an article sort of countering that and saying, well, maybe, if I'm reading this correctly, maybe it's not so good because now kids are starting to be more aware of health and weight, and now things are going to start coming up and maybe promoting more kickback on health and fitness or weight awareness. I don't know. I now have to write this down because what I do is I write these things down. And when I write them down, I'm going to come back and really think about it because I talk about this like emergency room. So I open up my belief system, look for those three things: resonance, resistance, persistence. It's now come in. I don't want to talk too much or think about this too much, but now I'm going to mark it down and put it in my waiting room. I'm going to read the rest of the article to see what um, what uh, what the rest of the article is saying. So, kids teaching in schools about health. All right, so that will be my trigger to do more research. So this is probably going to be something that's going to persist as I go forward. So I'm going to the next headline here. This is encouragement to eat healthier can backfire. Although a single curriculum unit may not be wholly responsible for the collapse of a young person's mental health, we have both seen up close just how much damage these assignments can cause. So, boom. And just like, I don't know if you heard earlier, Sunny came up here and was talking about mental health. mental health is the start, right? Everything always comes down to mental health. We want to avoid it. We want to squirm out of it because it's hard to see. It's hard to grip our hands around it and get control of it. And maybe the schools need to think more. Maybe we need to think about, are they really preparing students properly going into these types of conversations? But mental harm, mental health is big, and that's something we need to teach too. It's almost like we shouldn't be teaching anything till we teach people mental health. We think about it, we kind of avoid those things. We avoid mental health, we avoid teaching finances, we avoid teaching a whole bunch of things in the school systems. I think they're getting better, but I really think, at least I can only reflect what I go back, but I listen to what my kids bring back home, and they talk about penguins. I never hear anything about mental health, although last year they did start doing something, which was encouraging. Not that I necessarily believed it or not, or I did or did not, but the fact that they started addressing some mental things was encouraging to me. So, and maybe that's my school system. I don't know. An attempt to eat healthier according to a nutrition lesson can end up leading to food monitoring anxiety. And yeah, so I think that's what this is all about, is that bringing up nutrition in schools could trigger things in students. Um, so should they be teaching that? Maybe not so much calorie counting yet. Especially kids, right? I don't know. I have a hard time with kids. As long as kids are active, and going out there and doing things, I guess it all depends. If you're an obese kid, without genetic effects or any medical problems, then maybe that's something that's talked about on the side. But general nutrition and health should definitely be taught. But maybe they don't need to get into calorie counting right now. Maybe just giving them general knowledge and then let them sort of explore as on their own. And I think we need to teach more about beauty, right? Because we all have this idea of what beautiful means, what attractive means. And this is really the hurtful thing. Like and I think as a society we're getting better about this stuff, but we still have a long way to go, because beauty is all in the eye of the beholder. I mean, we can all look at an art piece and say, "Wow, that that art piece is awesome," and at the same time, people could be like, "I do not like that art." That's no different, and we need to teach people